It's 5 o'clock. It's Mountain Time. It's time for Tom and Shane, business and politics. And we're happy to be with you today. Thanks for joining us. And boy, today, President Biden and some of the other, whatever they are, political
Minions.
wackos,
Yeah.
political wackos are talking about the U.S. government creating their own digital currency. Not a cryptocurrency, but a digital currency. So,
Well, they already have that. So, I mean, to bring this up is a ridiculous conversation. We know that because of COVID and how they, delivered all the money that they spent. They did it virtually. So, I mean, they don't need a digital currency.
well, I don't think they do. They're talking about doing it because of the various currencies that are out there. We've got other countries that are that are doing it, but the physical currency is still widely exchanged and accepted. However, some developed countries have experienced a significant decrease in its use, which accelerated during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay, well, there's 8 billion people on the planet. 2 billion or 2 billion plus have access to a phone or a computer or something. So not going to happen because they're not all going to have it. Elon Musk has got his free band around the planet for everyone that has a phone.
Yeah.
So that and the fact that, today, the 28th of March, 2023, Tuesday, I'm set to acknowledge that Europe is in a colossal recession, and so is the globe. With everything that's going on around the world, including the issue, the issues with currencies, but principally with banks, you're going to see any kind of result or response to a negative bank crisis will be Ethereum, because that's what the billionaires own, and Bitcoin, because those are the two that are distributed and could be used in any way or manner.
Yeah,
people, in the black market basically are using them today. We know that that's what they're for.
Well, yeah,
but
this would be different than that, though.
I appreciate that. I'm just acknowledging if there was something that people went to besides gold and silver, as we've discussed. It would be some type of digital coin like Ethereum. That's the one billionaires built, 8 years ago. They own it. It's theirs. That's what they would use.
Yeah. Okay. Nancy joins us. Good afternoon to you both. Thanks, Nancy, for joining us. We appreciate that very much. And well, the other thing what we're talking about is a central bank digital currency. So it's backed by a government, controlled by a central bank. It would provide households, consumers, and businesses with a stable means of exchanging digital currencies. And one of the advantages would be like credit cards across different platforms and different currencies around the world. So it would make business, international business, much easier.
Well, it already is. It's it's sanctioned. It's set up. It's an issue that the U.S. wants to maintain control of because of the global trade. They consume 25% of everything in the world that's produced, and they're the largest consumer market in the world. Look at China. They just announced this week that their company's profits are down 20%. So there you go. I've told you that that came right from the government. So it's worse than that. But the point is that the global economy and the all the indexes you're looking at are they're still at a discount. They're not even cheap yet. The market still has a 10 to 20% coming to the downside, and that's what we should expect. The Fed will increase the Fed rate in May. They're going to 8%. They have to. They're not getting the response. I have the balances of the Fed bank sheet. They've managed to buy sell $1 trillion in the last year since we started talking about this of the debt they were holding,
Hmm.
U.S. debt. But at the same time, they bought $500 billion in mortgage-backed securities from
Yeah,
the
I know.
banks that aren't buying your debt. So it's a bit of a wash. So they'll
Yeah.
continue to raise them.
Well, thankfully somebody's buying it.
Yeah, but it's the it's the regulars that are rolling over or
Mm.
need U.S. debt to
No.
trade.
Well, that's the thing. That's why this kind of comes up because of this banking debacle we went through with, Silicon Valley Bank and others. And, that's why they're kind of, well, they've been talking about this since 22. October of 22 is when they kind of started floating the balloon for this thing. And if it were come to pass, Shane, who would be the watchdog of U.S. digital currency or central bank digital currency?
Well, that's the problem that you have. The International Monetary Fund, they're gone.
Yeah.
The World Bank, they're
Mhm.
gone.
Yeah.
And central banks like the Bank of Japan, Bank of Canada, Bank of
Mhm.
England,
Yeah.
what kind of role would they play?
Yeah.
They're not going to buy into it. They're not
Mhm.
going to risk what they have in hand.
Yeah.
Money's scared. You and I
Mhm.
talked about this so many times.
Sure. Yeah. Well, nobody wants the Fed to do it. You know, they're not they're not happy with the Fed the way it's going, the way it's handling things. So,
Well, the more you learn about this, this bank in California and the failure
hmm,
of the Fed and the oversight, the committees, the
yeah.
people. I mean, there's a
Hmm.
Fed banker outside of San Francisco. He did nothing.
Hmm.
They've been talking about this bank for between 9 and 12 months.
Hmm.
So I mean, they've been watching the bank.
Yeah.
This is called, like in 1929, the crash in 29 was simple. The Fed didn't have actual physical cash on hand to
Yeah.
send to banks so people could get it out. That's what caused the crash.
That's what caused the depression. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
'09, you had the same
Hmm.
problem with liquidity because of the Lipper rate, and they tried to cover,
Hmm.
save Bear Stearns, and then, Lehman Brothers couldn't get loans in London overnight
Hmm.
to operate, and boom, they went down. So now what you have now is a focused reversal of the inversion of your U.S. debt, where the interest rates on it going up because of the Fed rate by the
Hmm.
market is not allowing banks to be able to liquidate quick enough. When in 2 days you had 80 some $billion, pulled out of that bank. Guess
Hmm.
how?
Yeah.
Digitally.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get a digital currency. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's only going to make it worse because that's what
Yeah.
happened.
That's true.
It-
Yeah, when I go down to Walmart and slip my card in the little thing there, no money changes hands. It's ones and zeros. Go from Walmart to, or go for me to go to Walmart. So no cash changed hands.
yeah, yeah.
But there are several countries, Shane, that are experimenting with this. In the Bahamas, the sand dollar, that's a local central bank digital currency, been in circulation there for more than a year, backed by their government. Swedes has developed a proof of concept, and it's exploring the technology of a central bank digital currency, and China as well. They're looking at it. They've got more than 100 million individual users and billions of yuan in transaction using theirs.
Okay,
So, yeah.
let's go through these all three. The Bahamas, it's practical to them because they don't want to be dependent on the U.S. currency because that's what you use there. I mean,
Mhm, yeah. Well, around the world,
their
the U.S.
dollar is
the dollar is king around the world. I mean, it is.
and Sweden is, it's one of the
Mhm,
most successful countries in Europe internationally because it's a small country. But when you have companies like IKEA,
mhm,
there's per, per capita, there's more millionaires and billionaires in Sweden than anywhere else in Europe. And then China, this is all a result of getting rid of the actual yuan in
mhm,
urban areas and moving to digital purchases by phone, and then wanting to make an effort to move away from any kind of banking yuan so they
mhm.
can control it completely themselves.
True.
So
Yeah.
the difficulty you have with this is uh, the wealthy people in China are going to find themselves on a short stick because they won't be able to move anything anywhere because if China does this, they're all money locked. Instead of being landlocked, they're money locked because
Mhm.
all their wealth is locked in China.
Yeah. Nancy says the globalists want digital currency. New world order is their goal. And
Well, it's
well,
not that.
there's
I'm
certainly some truth in that.
Well, some, but that's what they're after is the black market.
Hmm.
The drugs, the slave trade, everything that's under the radar. We're talking trillions around the world,
Hmm.
and they want access to all of that for whatever reason,
Yeah.
tax or
Hmm.
to control it or do something about it. You don't know with politicians because they don't mean anything they say; they just talk about
Yeah, well, that's their problem. Well, the Federal Reserve issued a report that noted that a CBDC could fundamentally change the structure of the U.S. financial system. I mean, it could, I don't think we'll ever see a totally cashless society, Shane, but certainly I'm not using cash like I once did, or checks, or I got a debit card and a credit card, and that's all you need to operate.
that's true, but look how long it took it for all this to happen. It's like you go back and you look in the last 100 years about how money has evolved, not
Hmm.
developed, evolved, and across the board, the bottom line is who feels more comfortable with something digital on a phone.
Yeah.
You get an EIP, you have some kind of massive sun burst like in '89, and then
Hmm.
everything gets shut down.
Yeah.
You're
You're dead in the
SOL.
water.
You're SOL. I mean, everything's gone.
Yeah.
It's like the power's gone, your money's
Hmm.
gone, your phone's gone, your computer's gone, the internet's gone,
Yeah.
everything's gone.
Yeah.
So, let's be Broad Street about this
Hmm.
and explain that nothing is that simple, even in the 21st century. And again, this is a
Hmm.
first world wonder, not in the developed world, which of course China and India are.
Yeah.
Ha ha. Oh, and Russia,
Hmm.
and several other countries of significant size. But in the third world, this is irrelevant. People in the third world are just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And,
Well, Africa, an awful lot of people bank by phone in Africa. I mean,
they do.
tons of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but the women in particular, because the women have led the
Hmm.
successful move to making a lot of countries in Africa developing countries because
Hmm.
they're borrowing small amounts of money. We would laugh at the amounts. You're
Hmm.
talking $500 to $1,000 US.
Hmm.
To
Yeah.
start a business and being very successful, and it's all done by phone. And they
Hmm.
pay their interest and they pay their payments and they make their deposits. But the bottom line is we're talking about a third world situation where people don't have a credit card. They don't
Yeah.
even have a bank account or a bank card. They don't
That's
have a
true.
phone. So 7 billion people can't just be sort of forgotten about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give you a chicken for a duck or something.
Yeah,
Hey, don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell. You'll always be notified when we're on. Like us, leave a comment. Let us know if you like this kind of content because we'd appreciate that very much if you would do that. The other things, I guess, Shane, countries are seeking to preserve key aspects of their traditional money and financial systems while experimenting with new digital forms of money. So, this, I don't think this is going to go away. It's sort of like the Model T at the beginning. Is digital currency going to be the future of the world, or are we going to have some kind of a hybrid, money in one hand and digital in the other? Where are we going?
look, the point is they're trying to replace crypto technology
Hmm.
with something new they're calling digital. And so it's not going to work. As I said at the beginning of our show today, if people are going to move away from currency
Hmm.
as something to use, they'll go to cryptocurrency. They're not going to go to a digital currency because there's from your debt
Hmm.
there would be an endless amount of it. So how do you value it? I mean, you can't. What you're going to value it against a currency you're saying you're not going to use? Like
Well,
you're going to value,
you're going to value it against the dollar.
but there won't be a dollar because
Well, there will be, yeah, because
Yeah. So you're back to evaluating it against, commodities,
Mhm.
oil, food, the normal things,
Well, let me go back to the very beginning here. CB central bank digital currencies are a form of digital currency issued by a country's central bank. They're like cryptocurrencies, except their value is fixed by the central bank and equivalent to the country's fiat currency. So cryptocurrency is all over the place, Shane. I mean, it
I appreciate
fluctuates
that.
all over the place, but this would not.
I appreciate that. And one of the reasons that the global economy is talking about this is that the United States has been printing money for over 100 years, 120 years since the Fed came around, and they're printing presses, 24/7. You couldn't physically produce any enough currency to replace the U.S. currency physically,
No, you
right?
couldn't. No.
So they all know that. That's a
Mm-hmm.
lost cause. Let's we can't have that conversation. And I mean, the Chinese tried. In the last 30
Mm-hmm.
years, they tried. They did try to print enough yuan to compete with but no one wanted their
Yeah,
currency.
I know.
So,
Nobody
you know,
wants it.
it's just it's in
Well,
warehouses.
that's the thing, and you have to realize that the reason the dollar is the reserve currency of the world is because it's a stable currency. It's not like crypto that's all over the place. And I don't know why this wouldn't be something that some consumers might like, some businesses might like. Backed by the dollar, backed by the government, much like our money is. If the government goes south, our money goes south. So
Well,
it
your government,
seems like it would be a good idea.
your government has gone south. They're trying to
Well,
manage
yeah,
it as best they can,
yeah,
and
I know they have.
the difficulty we have and the rest of the world has is, oh, how do we solve this global problem? What's the global problem? Well, the global problem is there's $180 trillion in sovereign debt,
Hmm.
country debt issued by, guess what? The governments of those country and their
Hmm.
treasury departments and/or their national or bank,
Hmm. Yeah.
their their principal bank. So
Mhm.
it's one of these situations where how do we come up with a new idea that can be accepted and solves our problem at the same time?
Mhm. Well, the other thing cryptocurrency would do, it would eliminate the banks. They would be the middleman. When I put my card in at Walmart, it goes from my local bank to Walmart's bank, and that would be eliminated. It would be a direct transfer from me to Walmart.
Well, they won't put pictures on your social security card. They won't have voter ID, but I can guarantee you if this were to happen,
Hmm.
either the US Treasury Department or the US Federal Reserve would issue you a digital card. So, nope,
Hmm.
banks are
Yeah,
gone.
you would. Yeah, you'd have a
Banks are
yeah,
gone. If they did this, banks are gone.
yeah.
Well, we
Oh,
saw how quickly a bank that from
mhm.
1864,
Well, banks would be loan companies and savings and loans. That's what
no,
that's
no,
what
they're
they
all
would turn into.
digital. It's all going to be back and forth with the federal government. They'll involve Freddie Mac and so forth.
Mhm.
The other departments they have in your federal government to take over real estate, and
Mhm.
when it comes to purchasing and selling cars, I mean, look what's happened in the last 5 years with these used
Mhm.
car companies that
The dogs are active today, so
that's okay. I can overtalk them.
I know.
So look at the used car concept, where you go online, pick a car, and send in your serial number on your car. They make an offer, switch it. Oh, and they
Hmm.
deliver it to you.
Yeah.
So this is where all these things are evolving from.
Hmm.
Everybody's seeing all these things, and they're trying to repackage it, in a way that people will swallow it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the other issue that comes up is one, security and safety and privacy on one hand, and then transparency on the other, so that it won't be a criminal. It won't be used criminally like cryptocurrency is. And I agree with you. I think you'll have some kind of a number or some kind of an ID or something for every transaction so they can track what transaction you do and if they're legal transactions. And banks do that all the time. So,
Well,
that's nothing new.
in your country alone, we're back to the $1.7 trillion underground, under the radar economy, and having that part of the game.
Mhm.
This is really a lot of what they're looking at and what they're trying to solve. The second problem is the sovereign debt. It's out of control, not just in your country but globally.
Mhm.
And thirdly, we're looking at an economy now, a global economy that soft landing. This is now turning into a desperate attempt to avoid a depression, a
Mhm.
global depression.
Yeah.
Now, in a situation like that, countries do come up with ideas that they think will help solve that problem, which
Mhm.
probably the warning signs are all here now.
Mhm.
We've firmly believed that the recession's been here for, since February, over a year, and they've just wanted to deny it.
Mhm.
But we'll
Yeah.
see what happens in the next 6 months. It'll be interesting. Oh, there I keep having to hit myself with that. Uh, Look, the first quarter numbers are going to come in the next 3 weeks, and they're not going to be good. None of them.
No, they won't be.
No, they're not going to be good for Amazon. They're not going to be good for Google. They're not going to be good for Facebook or any of the .com
Mhm.
companies that have
Yeah.
relied or are relying
Well,
on.
this whole bank debacle has drawn everything down, Shane. It's trashed everything. The all the tech things were in Southern, that bank, the Silver Bullet Bank or whatever it was, and, and First Republic and some of these other ones. Silicon Valley Bank. I'll get it in a minute.
You've got to look at it globally. The
Yeah,
bank,
you do.
the bank in Miramar is now, Myanmar's a mess.
Mhm.
Bangladesh is a mess.
Mhm.
Germany and Deutsche Bank, the leader of the country had to come out and say, "Oh, it's great." No, it's not.
Mhm.
We've been warning about Deutsche Bank for 4 years because it's as bad as UBS and Credit Suisse with
Mhm.
all the inside
Mhm.
failures that they've had.
Well,
But
those two are on the block to be bought, so
yeah, but
that's another mess.
look, the only reason Credit Suisse got bought was very simple: the safety deposit box. That's it.
Mm.
That's the only reason why. They've got branches all over the world
Yeah.
where wealthy families for 500 years started storing their things, their goodies, in safety deposit box in the 1880s. So
Mhm.
that's 140 years. So yeah, you can't just close a bank down and not give anyone access to their safety deposit box.
Well, actually, you can. Many banks have been closed and or padlocked, and people couldn't get their stuff out until something was resolved with the
Well,
bank.
you remember the PLO?
Mhm.
Arafat ran it,
Yeah.
and literally once a month he had his compound. He had a helicopter, and he'd fly to Paris to go into his bank account at Credit Suisse
Mhm.
to get cash
Yeah.
out of his safety deposit boxes.
Yeah.
Well, it was a vault. It wasn't a box.
Yeah.
Load it on the helicopter, fly back to Palestine to pay everybody so that they
Yeah.
could live. So
Yeah.
there's cases of this historically
Mhm.
that you can reference to realize.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I
Mhm.
mean, look at the mess in Israel with
Yeah.
Netanyahu and his changes in the court system, and
Mhm.
you've got this
Yeah.
problem in France with the
Yeah.
change in their social security.
Retirement. Yeah.
And
Retirement. Yeah.
then this week, Germany shuts down because all the people involved in transportation take a 3-day
Mhm.
leave.
Yeah.
So across the board, everywhere, I'm telling you folks that are listening to us today, and hopefully will listen to us again on Thursday,
Yeah.
that we're in serious problem. This is a big problem. Big, you know.
That's for sure.
Danger, Will Smith. Danger, danger.
Danger. Hey, I'm glad you brought that up, Shane, because we are here every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Subscribe, ring the notification bell, like us, leave a comment, let us know what you like and don't like, and we'll be happy to take that information and use it wisely. Well, let's see, Shane. Maybe some final thoughts here. You don't think this is going to come to anything? I don't think it will right now, particularly with all this bank stuff going on. I don't think they're going to touch it.
Well, you
I
need
think they're using
legislation.
it as an excuse, but I don't think they're going to touch it.
You're going to need legislation if the Fed or the
Yeah.
Treasury Department in your country
Mhm.
suggests this. They're going to need legislation to be able to do it. And
Yeah.
so Americans are going to go like no
Mhm.
voter ID, no picture on my social security card, but you want me to get a
Yeah.
digital card?
A U.S. debit card. Yeah.
So in a time of desperation, maybe I think that the demolition party in your country, Democrats, would
Mhm.
move on it because they don't have any answers and they certainly
Yeah.
have no ideas. So
Mhm.
again, digital, crypto, what are we talking
Mhm.
about? Well, you don't want Bitcoin or Ethereum
Yeah.
to be the currencies of the world that you just
No, you don't. Yeah. No, it's unregulated. It's hackable. It's whatever. So yeah, there's an issue with that, and the volatility
What
of it
about
we've
retired?
seen.
What about retired people? They have all their
Mhm.
banking. They
Mhm.
have all their money automatically deposited, like I do, you do.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. With this digitized idea, banks are gone now. How do I get
Mhm.
my pension? How do I get
Yeah.
my money from? How do I get my government money?
Yeah.
How do
I don't even think Social Security even sends checks anymore. I think
no, it's
they
all
went to a fully digital direct deposit a
that's right.
couple of years ago.
Unless, of course, Biden sends us another check like he did, 2 years
Well,
ago.
that's true. Yeah. Well, I don't know. So anyway, so hey, let me remind you that we are on radio live every Saturday, 8 to 11 Mountain Time, except for last Saturday when the snow was 23.4 inches here and I couldn't even get out of the driveway. So listen to us live on KMMSAM.com. Just click listen now. No sign up, nothing to join, no email needed, no personal information of any kind. And if you missed any of our shows, including this one, if you joined us late or had to leave early, all of our shows are at KMMSAM.com. Just click on Tom and Shane's podcast, and you'll be taken directly to our podcast. So,
That and Saturday morning we have a 3-hour live talk radio show
yes, we do.
around the world. KMMSAM.com on your cell phone or your computer.
Yeah.
So pick up your cell phone, dial it in, listen to us, and you can call us. You can call us and join the show. So we have a raucous time because Tom has done his job to slash the advertising so that we have, we only have.
I've eliminated almost all advertising. Yeah.
3 hours, and there's only like 12 minutes of advertising from each hour.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty cool. We had 20, almost a half an hour of 3 hours, and it makes
we have 2.5, maybe a little over 2.5 hours of total broadcast for every 3 hours we're on. Yeah, so that's certainly true. Yeah. All we have is PSAs and news and the weather. That's it.
You're like my TV dad for that insurance company.
I am your TV dad.
You keep correcting me. I'm so glad you're here.
I am too. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us, folks. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate all of you folks out there. And we have a live chat freezes up at times. Well, sorry about that. That must be a Facebook thing or whatever. So I don't know. But anyway, we want to thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching. And we will see you on our next podcast, which will, of course, be next Thursday. So be sure and tune in for that. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell, like us. Also, all of the research we did will be in the comments below on both the audio and the video. We are out of here.